In the next chapters of The Young and the Restless Spoilers, Los Angeles transforms from a backdrop of luxury to a twisted, high-stakes battlefield where secrets, lies, and past betrayals conspire to create a perfect storm. The question lingers: why has the show shifted its focus away from the familiar streets of Genoa City, where every corner holds memories and every face is a familiar one? Is the town of Genoa abandoned for good, or is the city of dreams now the place where the darkest truths will finally come to light? Los Angeles, with its polished exterior and tantalizing promises of freedom, becomes the setting for a chilling, almost cinematic tale. It's a city where appearances are deceiving, and even the most beautiful sunsets are overshadowed by the shadows of old secrets that refuse to stay buried. This is where Noah Newman, once a beacon of hope, now lies struggling for his life in a sterile hospital room. His face is disfigured, his body battered, and his mind trapped in a fog of unconsciousness, unaware that the true horror has yet to be revealed. The accident that nearly claimed his life may not have been an accident at all, but a carefully orchestrated event. Nick and Sharon, desperate to find answers, are too consumed by their desire for justice to see the full scope of the danger. They want to believe it was just a freak incident, a momentary lapse of fate. But the truth is much darker. While they focus on chasing down clues, they have failed to protect the one person who could expose everything: Noah. And now, a new threat looms, one that is both silent and deadly. Whoever is behind the crash doesn't just want Noah out of the way for good, they want him to disappear entirely. As Noah struggles to survive, his would-be killer isn't content with just leaving him incapacitated. Poison is now the final blow, a lethal injection designed to ensure that Noah will never wake up, never remember what truly happened that night. The killer's motives are becoming clearer. Noah knows too much. He's a threat to someone with far more to lose. And in the high-stakes world of deceit, secrets must stay buried, no matter the cost. The stakes couldn't be higher. Sharon and Nick, too preoccupied with their own grief, are blind to the lurking danger. They think they're the ones in control, the ones driving the investigation forward, but they're missing the bigger picture. As they dig deeper into Noah's life, they start to make connections that lead them to the truth, but will they be too late to stop what's coming next? The web tightens. As Noah fights for his life, he's also fighting against the silent conspiracy that's been working against him from the shadows. The true culprit behind his crash has ties to a long-forgotten chapter of the Newman family's past, and those ties are now threatening to come undone. Secrets that were never meant to be exposed are resurfacing, and as more is uncovered, the danger intensifies. The question on everyone's mind is, who wants Noah dead, and why? The evidence starts to point towards someone who has everything to lose if Noah wakes up and remembers the truth. But as Nick and Sharon race against time to uncover the conspiracy, they'll have to face the horrifying reality that they've been too late to protect their son. The stakes are about to reach a boiling point. The return of a ghost. Meanwhile, as the investigation unfolds, the mysterious figure Audra Charles reappears on the horizon. Audra's involvement in the Newman family's shady past was always a well-kept secret, but now it seems like the story isn't finished. Could she be connected to the attempt on Noah's life? Is she the orchestrator of this latest attempt to cover up something far darker? And if so, what does she want with Noah, and why is she willing to go to such extreme lengths to ensure his silence? With Audra's return, the stakes grow even higher. She has always been a woman with a plan, and her motivations are never straightforward. As the pieces of the puzzle start to fall into place, Nick, Sharon, and the rest of the Newman family realize that they may have underestimated the depth of the conspiracy. Their world is about to be turned upside down, and the only question left is whether they can stop it before it's too late. A city of shadows. Genoa City may have always been home, but Los Angeles is where the true game is being played. Every corner of the city hides secrets, and every face behind the glamorous facades is hiding something. From the wealthy to the desperate, Los Angeles is the city where everyone has a past, and everyone has something to hide. Holden and Claire, once hopeful and full of promise, are about to discover just how deep the city's web of lies runs. Will they be the ones who expose the truth, or will they, too, become pawns in a game far beyond their control? In conclusion, as the mystery surrounding Noah's crash deepens, the real question emerges: how far are the Newmans willing to go to protect their empire? Will Nick and Sharon's search for answers lead them to the truth, or will it spiral into something much darker, leaving Noah to become another victim of the ruthless world he was born into? In the end, Los Angeles proves to be the perfect stage for a story filled with deceit, danger, and betrayal. The city, known for its beauty and allure, hides a darker truth, one that will unfold in the coming episodes as more characters are pulled into the mystery, and the line between ally and enemy becomes more blurred with each passing moment. The stage is set for a tragedy, and it's only a matter of time before the final pieces of the puzzle fall into place. As fans await the next twist, the question remains: who can you trust when even the ones you love are hiding dangerous secrets? Would you like me to continue this storyline, expanding the role of Audra and the growing conspiracy surrounding Noah's crash in the next episode? The mysterious assassin, a shocking revelation. In the dim light of the hospital room, the hum of machines monitoring Noah's fragile condition was interrupted by the sound of footsteps. Nick had barely left his son's side when he noticed the figure, cloaked in shadows, slipping in unnoticed, holding something in his hand. The syringe gleamed under the sterile hospital lights, and as the figure approached Noah's unconscious form, Nick's instincts screamed danger. His pulse quickened, and a sudden surge of adrenaline spurred him into action. The moment Nick entered the room, the eerie quiet was shattered by his voice: "Who the hell are you?" The question was more of a roar, a desperate cry as he rushed toward the figure, but the intruder was quick, too quick. The syringe was already plunged into Noah's arm, the needle burying itself in his skin like a death sentence. Nick's heart stopped. His worst nightmare had become real. With no time to think, Nick lunged at the figure, his hands grasping for anything he could hold on to. The stranger, seemingly unfazed, was already preparing to flee, but Nick wasn't about to let him go. A fierce struggle ensued. The intruder was strong, but Nick's rage fueled his every move. He fought with the desperation of a father trying to protect his son from an unseen killer, determined not to let the man get away. In the midst of their fight, a sudden shift in momentum caused the assailant's mask to slip. The figure's face was partially exposed for a split second, but in that fleeting moment, Nick's heart dropped. He recognized the eyes, the smirk. It was someone from his past. The man's identity was clear now, but Nick couldn't believe it. It was someone he had once trusted. The mask had fallen, but the recognition left him reeling. The man was no stranger. In fact, he had been someone who had walked freely through the halls of the Newman mansion before. Yet here he was now, holding a syringe full of poison, trying to murder Noah. But before Nick could fully process the shock, the assailant broke free, shoving Nick aside with surprising strength. As quickly as the fight had started, it ended. The figure bolted from the room, disappearing into the darkened corridors of the hospital. Nick was left standing there, breathless, his heart racing as he tried to comprehend what had just happened. "Who the hell are you?" Nick repeated under his breath, but there was no answer. The mysterious man had vanished into the shadows, leaving nothing but questions and terror in his wake. Nick rushed to Noah's side, checking for any signs of life. The damage had already been done. The syringe that had been injected into Noah contained enough poison to kill him. As Noah's vitals began to fluctuate, Nick's mind raced. Who had done this? Why? And what did it all mean for Noah's survival? Sharon arrived just in time to see Nick holding Noah's limp body, eyes wild with panic. Nick turned to her, his voice shaking with disbelief. "Someone tried to kill him, Sharon. Someone we know, someone close." The words hit Sharon like a slap to the face. Who could want to harm Noah? Who would be bold enough to attack him in his most vulnerable state? The hospital was supposed to be a place of safety, a place for recovery, not a battleground for vengeance. Nick quickly called for the doctors, but his mind was already a whirlwind of thoughts. The person responsible for the attack wasn't just a random assailant. No, this was someone who had been in their lives for a long time, someone with motives deeper than just a random act of violence. But the mystery was far from solved. In fact, it was just beginning. The revelations. As the doctors worked frantically to stabilize Noah, Nick couldn't shake the image of the man who had tried to kill him. His face, the one that had been revealed for just a moment, haunted Nick's thoughts. Who was he really? And more importantly, why did he want to kill Noah? Nick's thoughts turned to the people closest to them. The Newman family had always been surrounded by enemies, but this felt different. This wasn't a random attack. This was personal. Whoever had orchestrated this had been watching Noah, had been waiting for the right moment to strike. It's someone who has been in our lives, Nick muttered, as if trying to convince himself. Sharon, trying to calm him down, placed a hand on his shoulder. We'll find out who did this, Nick. We have to. For Noah. But even as Sharon spoke, a seed of doubt began to take root in Nick's mind. Could it really be someone they knew? Could the past, the very people they had trusted, be the ones pulling the strings now? Was this just the beginning of a far darker plot, one that stretched further than they could imagine? As the night wore on and Noah's condition stabilized, Nick made a decision. He wasn't going to wait for the authorities to figure this out. He would find the person responsible for trying to kill his son. He would go to any lengths to protect Noah and the rest of his family. But the question still burned in his mind: who was the man who tried to murder Noah? The past returns. Meanwhile, in the shadows, the true mastermind behind the attack was closer than Nick could ever have imagined. The person who had ordered the hit on Noah was someone whose name had been whispered but never fully acknowledged, someone whose motives had been hidden behind layers of secrecy and betrayal. The attack wasn't just about silencing Noah, it was about controlling the future of the Newman family. And the mysterious figure who had tried to kill him had a much larger role to play. As the investigation unfolded, the truth would emerge piece by piece, each revelation more shocking than the last. But Nick and Sharon had to act quickly. With every passing moment, the danger was getting closer. The person who had orchestrated the attack was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike again. The hunt begins. Nick wasn't going to rest until he found out the identity of the person who tried to kill Noah. He would follow any lead, chase down every clue, and confront anyone who stood in his way. The stakes were too high, and Noah's life and the future of the Newman family depended on it. The clock was ticking, and the only thing Nick knew for sure was that the battle for Noah's survival was far from over. Would you like me to expand further, detailing the next steps in Nick's investigation and the eventual revelation of the identity behind the assassin?